keyboard and I'm using that escape button probably 1,000 times a day, and my right hand is my mouse hand. In this particular case, I'm right-handed. So we can click on here. We can also go to the very top and click on view, and we can organize our project browser by saying, you know, organize it by discipline, organize it by not on a sheet, organize it by phase, organize it by type, and then discipline. Okay, organize by all. Okay, we can also go up to the top under here and go settings, browser organization. Okay, there's all, discipline, not on sheet, phase, type. Those are the ones that I just saw over here. Inside of there, I can click on here and I can edit that and further control that. Okay, I can make some new ones and I can make a new organization type. And then once I, you know, hit OK, I can go in and filter and create my own way of organizing that project browser. Okay. And then I can hit OK, and now I have that, you know, I can organize by my own version of that inside of here. Okay, back to there. So we'll learn more as we learn more about the project browser. We can also go down to sheets, and we can organize our sheets by this. None these other ones you can't organize by. Okay, having a way, so we have our views, we have families, we have groups. Okay, within the views we have legends. We also have sheets. Okay, so we don't have any sheets yet. I'm going to right click on a sheet and say new sheet. Or I can go view new sheet as well. Where's my sheet? Down inside of here. So creating new views. Revit is made up of a 3D model with a whole bunch of views, and what happens is you have different views. That's really what it is. It's all different views. So if I right click and say new sheet with this title block, I can hit OK. Now I have a new sheet. Well, now I can go down here and I can say, okay, well, I'm going to grab my fancy 3D view and drag that on, put it on my sheet. Hit escape, and then I can go print that out. Okay, I can hover over that, click on it, delete it from my sheet. I don't delete it from the project, just from the sheet. Go back to here, maybe grab my foundation plan, drag that, place it on here. Okay, look at the size of it. Watch what happens if I go back to my foundation plan and change that to be a 1/16 of an inch equals 1 foot, and then go back to my sheet, which is now over here. It's gotten smaller. Okay, and I can take that and control that. Okay, if I go back to my foundation plan and then I right click, I can go to the properties of that and change the scale in here as well as changing the scale. There's 2 or 3 ways of doing everything, of course, like most software. Back to 1/8 of an inch, back to my sheet, and there my plan has gotten bigger because I changed my scale. You can right click on here and you can rename that sheet foundation plan. Okay, and then give it a new name, S1, hit OK. In Revit, of course, as it is, now it's going to put that information in here, foundation plan right there, FDN, and it's also going to put the S1. I can go in here and click on here and rename this and call it foundation plan by actually typing it in there and then clicking out, and watch what happens. It's going to change it down over here. This is Revit, very parametric. Okay, change it in one place, it changes it everywhere in the whole database. Okay, I can also click on this view, right click and say activate the view, and now I'm actually in that foundation plan within the sheet. You'll see this is grayed out, and I can make changes, deactivate the view, kind of like going in a paper space viewport. So dragging objects down to my sheets, we'll talk extensively about that. All within here, the project browser. So you can also right click on an object and then check the properties and do all kinds of neat stuff we're going to talk about. So this is the project browser, and these are how it's organized. We've got families, we've got floors. Hit the plus button, or we can double click. Remember, we've got different floor types over here. 1/2 inch metal, 3 inch, 6 inch concrete, all our different family types, which are kind of like really, really fancy blocks. I don't even want to use the word block, but it's about as close to AutoCAD as they have. Maybe groups are closer to blocks actually. And then so we have all our structural families, our site families, our roof families. So this is all organized for us alphabetically. Again, the plus sign. Okay. and we can click and we can right click and delete and add and rename and do all kinds of neat stuff in there. So this is our project browser. We can also drag that and relocate it wherever we want. We can dock that against the different sides as we please. Okay, there's our project browser. Okay, down inside of here we have our status bar. As I click and I hover, the status bar is changing. If I go back to here and go to my foundation or my level 2, double clicking, zoom in. Okay, if I hover over, watch my status bar. Grid D, grid E, grid F. Okay, and you can also hover over objects and it gives you tooltips. If you hover over anything, a button, and just stay there for a second, it'll give you a tooltip. Okay, if you go into the trim command and you start the trim command and then you hit F1, okay, it'll start the help menu and it'll go to that one particular type of tool. Okay, actually that didn't quite work the way I hoped it would. So we've got our status bar down here. We've got our view options bar where we can change between coarse detail. Specifically, these are specific to the view that I'm in. I'm in level 2. When I change this, it's only specific to that one view. It doesn't affect this view. And the thing is, the view retains its visibility as you leave. If I zoom in on this foundation plan to here with my wheel button, and I go back to here, and I leave the drawing and save it and open this up again tomorrow, I go back to my foundation plan, it's going to be zoomed back to that same area, okay, as I go. So however you leave the view, okay, the different views that you create of the 3D model, it retains that view for you. Okay, down here with our view options, we've also got a neat tool here where we can isolate and select and hide objects. I can go, for instance, to my 3D model. Maybe I want to get rid of this roof temporarily. I can click on that roof, make it red, and then go down here and hit my sunglasses and say hide that object. Now it hides the object. I can shift middle mouse button and I can wheel down. I can see that without the roof on it. Then I can go back. Notice it's red now, and I can say reset that. Okay, I can click on a couple of objects if I want, highlight them, make them red, and I can say hide objects. It'll hide all of those objects that I selected. Go back in here, reset. Okay, you can do the opposite. You can click on something and you can say isolate this, meaning only show me that object. Now I can shift middle mouse button. In this particular view, in this one 3D view, I've got that set. Okay, if I go back to my roof plan, I'll actually see the roof because in this view, these are specific to that view. If I go back to my 3D view, which is this 3D view up here is the one in the squiggly brackets. If I double click on this, or I double click on this, or single click I should say, I'm back to that. Notice that it remembers. Now I'm going to go back and reset that. It's going to show me my whole model again. You have that option. My point being, whatever you do in here is specific to the view you're in. The highlighted view that you're in, notice it's bolded because I'm in level 3. Everything I set down in here is specific to that one view. If I go to this view, it has its own view settings. We'll learn lots more about it by right-clicking, going into properties inside of here. Okay, if I squeeze my Revit window down here a little bit, you'll also notice that you've got the title bar, which says the version, it says the drawing you're in, and it says the view that you happen to be looking at the time. I'm in level 4. Now I'm going to switch. It's going to say level 3. Now I'm in level 1. And we've also got level, some analytical. I've got level 1, which is this view. Okay, and then I've got my ground level, analytical, which is where all the good structural engineering stuff is, where it switches to an analytical view, which is part of what Revit Structure is all about. So we've got the analytical view of the ground level, and then we've got the more or less the more visually friendly view. We've got a level 2, and then we've now watch level 2. I'm going to change this to say fine detail, okay, or medium detail, or coarse detail. Don't get coarse detail mixed up with analytical. Okay, analytical is different. Okay, so we have the different views that we're going to see. We have our different views. We've got our title bar, we've got our menu pull downs, we've got our toolbars, we've got our options bar with our type selector and our properties, we've got our design bars over here with our menus, we've got our project browser over here, we've got our status bar down here in the lower left, we've got our view options here, and then we've got the actual view editing window over here, and then again we can go in here. Now watch what happens when I tile these. All those views are all going to come back, and if I've got a great big screen, of course this is great. Otherwise I'm going to want to go in here at some point and then go in here and say window, close all hidden windows, and now all those windows are gone, and if I do a tile, it's just going to tile my one window. So that's just our quick interface lesson coming out of the gate and using an existing file that comes with Revit under our training files, and then we'll continue along and break it down and go over some of these different tools and options in great detail.